Hi guys, the episode that you're just about to listen to is generously sponsored by our affiliates Board Game Crate. Board Game Crate provide a monthly subscription service where they get fresh new games delivered straight to your door. Just head over to www.boardgamecrate.co.uk, and furthermore, if you use our discount code UnluckyFrogIsAwesome, all lowercase, all one word, you'll get a cheeky little discount. It's easy to remember because it's true. Hello and welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. You are joined by your usual hosts here, Josh Hartley and Ben Porter. How are we doing, Ben?
We're doing okay.
Just okay?
Yeah, just okay. We've got quite a lot of news this week.
It's heavy news as well. So this is kind of going to be our two main topics, if you will. We've got obviously UK Games Expo's coming up, and they've released the shortlists for their awards.
Yeah. We've been a bit late to the party on talking about Origins because we've had a few guests and events, but we'll talk about the Origins Awards as well.
Of course, yes.
Yep.
And there's some actual real-world newsy things that are impacting our little hobby as well.
We were just discussing before recording, it's already being referred to as the Trump tariffs.
There we go. But that is Trump as in Donald Trump rather than Trump as in
the classic card game.
Yes. Top Trump tariffs.
Yeah.
That the driest version of Top Trumps.
Yeah. So we'll unpack that a little bit more later on.
Yeah. But just before we go into things, so what have we been up to lately?
Well, we're straight back from Carronade, and we did a little bargain hunt challenge when we were there. Yes,
our listings are now live on eBay. Both of us aren't feeling 100% confident that.
No.
I think there will be for both of us like last minute surges because we like.
That's just the nature of eBay, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think next year when we do it, we'll try and publicise the auction a little bit more, hype up the event a little bit more. Hopefully, people get on board a lot. I just hope we've got something to give to Andy's Man Club at the end of this.
Yeah. And by the way, that is the charity that we have chosen, Andy's Man Club, who do excellent work in Scotland with suicide prevention.
Yeah. They've more of an emphasis on male suicide prevention because it is at epidemic levels.
Yeah, and this stat always is. It doesn't sound real to me, but for men in our age bracket, i.e. under 40, the biggest killer is suicide.
Yeah.
Which is tragic because it has to be the most preventable one as well.
You would think so.
Yeah.
But the great thing is that there are people out there, like the guys behind Andy's Man Club, that are taking steps to combat that. I know there's a Glasgow-based charity called Brothers in Arms as well. It does a similar work.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll post links in the show notes so that if you wish to make a contribution, by all means. But if you really want to make a contribution, bid on my items, so specifically not Ben's.
Well,
because I want to win this.
For me, it's just about the charity. So anything.
You trying to high road me?
I think it worked. Yeah.
It all goes to a good cause in the end.
Yeah.
One helps my ego.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's going to motivate people one way or the other. Probably the other.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other news items. The Age of Sigmar role-playing game that Cubicle 7 have been working on.
Mm-hmm.
They showcased some more artwork for it.
Yes, this was from Warhammer Fest, wasn't it?
It was. It is So they've officially revealed that the Age of Sigmar role-playing game is going to be called Soulbound.
Mm-hmm.
And it will come with a starter set, some phenomenal original artwork.
Yeah, this looks awesome.
It looks as though it's going to be polar opposite to Warhammer Fantasy in that it's basically like Warhammer Avengers, but also you're going to be playing like more or less like a superhero.
Yeah, I mean, and they've revealed some of the classes.
Yep. So the 2 Carronade Overlord classes. You've got the Ether Chemist, who's going to be like your sort of support crowd control guy.
Yep.
I think. You've got the Skyrigger, who's the other Carronade guy. The Balloon Boy.
Balloony Boy. Yep.
I think he's going to be like your sort of glass cannon, heavy hitter, ranged guy.
Yeah. Next one's my boy from Warhammer Quest.
Yep, the Excelsior War Priest.
He's a good lad.
Healer and support.
Yeah.
More than likely. The human character. Obviously.
Hopefully complete with Doggo as well.
Yeah, the Gryph-hound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied now.
Yeah, so I think you might be right. I think you might get a doggo, or we'll have an option for that as he progresses. We've got 2 more Fireslayer characters. We've got the Battlesmith.
Yep.
Who's like basically the Fireslayer's version of a bard.
Mm-hmm.
Like big angry dude who sings songs and tells stories.
I picture him singing thrash metal.
Yeah.
Like he's covering Pantera.
Like pig screaming.
Yeah.
as he cuts people up. Yeah. He looks badass.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Runesmiter, who's the priest.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll probably be a combination of support, damage dealing.
Yeah.
Basically a sort of fill in the role of a sort of wizard archetype for the dwarfs. And then you get the Night Quester.
Yes.
Stormcast, more than likely sort of close combat tank type character.
The Paladin.
Yeah. So looks great artwork. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
It has been delayed again, so we're probably not going to have it in stores until spring. They're saying now, but hopefully we'll get a bit of a look at it at UK Games Expo.
Yeah. So watch the space, guys.
Yeah.
Rightio. Now shall we chat about some awards?
Will we talk about Origins first?
Yeah. Let's have a look at them.
They were announced first.
Yeah.
So Origins Awards are the show awards for Origins, which takes place in June. Origins Game Fair takes place in Columbus, Ohio, and the awards for the Game Fair are one of the more prestigious industry awards, or show awards. So, shall we rattle through the categories? There's quite a lot here, but
there's a lot to take in, and just to bear in mind, these are nominees. Yeah. No one's won anything just yet.
So
quite a lot of games we have seen in other lists. Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
So board games, we've got Brass Birmingham, Chronicles of Crime, Cryptid, Everdell, Gizmos, Pulsar 2849, Rising Sun, Root, and Space Base.
I don't think there's anything notable. I can't think of any notable omissions. Of course, from apart from our own Game of the Year, Koi.
Yeah.
But no, certainly no surprise at all to see Brass Birmingham, Root, and Rising Sun on there,
and Everdell.
And Everdell, of course, yeah.
I think Gizmos has been quite popular as well.
Do you know what the thing with Gizmos is? Like, I did enjoy playing it, but it didn't wow me. Yeah, no. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but
a lot of people really like it. It's a really polished game, but
it's a very nice looking game. Yeah. And it plays well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being too fussy now. But
now a man of discriminating taste.
Yes.
Yes.
But But yeah. Again, like I'm not entirely surprised to see it nominated as well. Nice to see Chronicles of Crime nominated.
Yeah. I've not had a chance to play it, but it's one that I really want to.
I like the idea of integrating the mobile app.
Yeah, augmented reality.
Yeah.
Right, so we haven't played all of these.
We haven't played most of these, let's be fair.
That always happens, right?
Root's really good. I can tell you that right now.
Okay. If you had to put your money on one as the winner, what do you reckon?
I mean, Root has a lot of buzz around it.
One
of the big Kickstarter successes of recent years as well.
Yeah.
In terms of, it was a big Kickstarter that turned out to actually be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just a very impressively designed game as well. The fact that all the factions play very differently, but it does feel balanced at the same time. That how do they? It's not. This isn't a vote of from the attendees, is it? This is judges.
There's a fan favorite award.
Yeah, but the rest of them are judged by a panel.
I believe they are.
Yeah.
They're voted on by members of the Academy of Adventure Gaming Arts and Design, apparently.
I'm still waiting for my invite to that academy.
Yeah, can't be that prestigious. I would say my money's probably on Root for that.
Yeah, a lot of buzz about Brass as well, but we'll see.
I think the standouts, as much as they're all good games in their own right. I think the front runners are probably Root, Everdell, and maybe Brass.
Okay.
But I think it's probably going to be Root.
All right. Well, moving on to card games.
Card games, we've got Anatomy Flux,
Mm-hmm.
Choose Your Own Adventure, House of Danger, Dark Souls the card game, Get the MacGuffin, Maiden's Quest, The Mind, and Villainous.
Easy money's on the Mind for that.
Collectible games, we've got Card Fight Vanguard Unite Team Q4 Booster,
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball Super Miraculous Revival Booster, these names.
Oh, I love it.
Hero Clicks X-Men Xavier's School,
Yep.
Keyforge Call of the Archons Archon Deck, Lightseekers Mythical Expansion, Magic the Gathering Dominaria Booster, Pokemon Forbidden Light Booster, Star Wars Destiny Legacies Booster Pack, Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions Trading Card Game, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Legendary Collection Kaiba Box.
I mean, this is basically like a who's who of the big trading card games, right?
Yeah. I think it's probably going to be Keyforge.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they voted on this. Am I right in thinking Magic won it last year? For one of the expansions.
Can't remember. But then I wouldn't be surprised if they won it last year, because it's only been over the past year that there's been a couple of new entrants into the collectible card game, really.
Yeah.
Star Wars Destiny's quite a strong following.
It's got a big following, yeah.
But I think that based on the buzz that there's been about it, I think that's usually a good indication of the way that the Origins Awards go, is what's had the most buzz. I would say probably Keyforge.
It's interesting to me that they've chosen Dominaria for Magic the Gathering. I don't disagree with it. Dominaria is an excellent expansion, but so was Return to Ravnica. Miniatures games, so it's something we know. We can sink our teeth into this one.
We know a lot about this one, so we've got. I'll rattle through the list and then we'll talk about them. Fallout Wasteland Warfare, Kill Team, Kings of War Vanguard, Necromunda, A Song of Ice and Fire, tabletop miniatures game, and Star Wars Legion. Interesting that GW have 2 games in this category.
Yeah, I really rate Kill Team. I almost feel guilty though for for suggesting that GW Games should be winning like the best miniatures game because they are so massive in that field, but at the same time, I think I would be giving it to Kill Team. I don't. The only thing I will caveat that with is I haven't played Star Wars Legion.
I've not played Star Wars Legion yet, but at the same time, it's one of these ones where there was a huge deal made about it around the time that it launched.
Yeah,
and then nothing.
I don't like. Yeah,
I'm not saying that it is now irrelevant, but it is interesting when you consider X-Wing has always had a very strong and very vocal following.
Yeah.
Whereas Star Wars Legion, there was this big flash and then
fizzled.
Yeah. Very expensive to get into Star Wars Legion, which they maybe priced themselves out of the game with that one.
Yeah, and
certainly compared to the other miniatures games.
And right, that was the other thing I was going to point out about the two GW games is two of the smaller games that you can get into.
There's been a definite shift with miniature wargaming towards smaller, quicker games.
Do you think that might create an opening though for like some of these massive battle games? Like a craving to get that like Warhammer 8th edition feel.
There's always going to be a counterculture.
Yeah.
The good thing about most of certainly it's a strength of the Games Workshop games is that they scale quite well.
Yeah.
Because both Age of Sigmar, Age of Sigmar is getting Warcry soon, which is going to be like a more fleshed out small squad game, but there are rules for skirmish with Age of Sigmar, and you can play way up to
massive battles,
ridiculous points values.
And likewise with 40k, like they're about to release a new edition of Apocalypse, which is all about stupid big games. So what would you put your money on then in this category?
I think it's probably between Kill Team and Necromunda.
Yeah, Necromunda's got a lot of nostalgia factor to it.
It's not just that. It's I thought that Kill Team was the game, and in my ignorance for a long time, I thought that Kill Team had eclipsed Necromunda. But the more people I speak to, Necromunda's still got a really strong following.
Oh yeah. People love that setting though as well.
I think Necromunda has a meteor rule set.
Yeah.
And certainly it is designed more with campaign play in mind, which I think is a huge attraction.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it is a strength of Kill Team that it is basic, but at the same time, like you were talking earlier about how, if the market goes one way, you're always going to have like that reaction.
People who want to go the other, yeah.
Sure. So although they are both skirmish games, I think they are quite different in tone.
I think the only other one that I'd consider, again with the caveat that I haven't played Star Wars Legion, would be Wasteland Warfare. But you guys, you've played more of it than I have, and it's good but not great. I think is. Yeah,
it was okay. It was one of those ones where I felt that they were. It's more a problem you get with role playing games. But then it's Modiphius that designed it.
Yeah.
So it might be why this particular problem appears. It felt like it was trying to be different for the sake of being different, rather than trying to come up with an elegant, innovative combat system. And it would, like, the dice are a lot like the dice you get for like the like Legend of the Five Rings, like the Star Wars role-playing game, where it's unique dice with all these symbols on them.
Sometimes it's just easier with numbers.
Sometimes it is. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
I think I'd said to you after I'd played Wasteland Warfare and I'd then played Kill Team that were it not for the fact that Kill Team exists, I would still play Wasteland Warfare.
But we live in a world where Kill Team is the thing.
Yeah, so I really do think it's between the two Games Workshop ones there. Again, Song of Ice and Fire we played.
Disappointing.
Disappointing.
Sorry. Lovely miniatures.
Yeah, phenomenal miniatures.
Yeah.
Actually. I think of all the, with excluding the Games Workshop games, I think of all of the new miniatures games that came out last year, the Song of Ice and Fire ones were the best. Right.
So, UK Games Expo's shortlist. We've got a very different type of category now. And notably, these games have to be exhibiting at UK Games Expo to be eligible.
Yes, they do.
Which is kind of fair.
Yeah.
So, we've got Best Abstract Game.
So, for each of these categories, there's only 3 nominations.
Nice and brief.
Yeah, so Best Abstract Game, we've got Dragon Castle, Azul, and Bad Bones.
I would bet my left arm on Azul winning that.
Yeah. I think that's a safe... I hope it's a safe bet.
Do you know what? Someone wants to take me on that. I'm that confident. If someone takes me up on that, right? I will sever my left arm and post it to someone. That is how confident I am at Azul winning that.
I really hope the judges are listening and will change. I would agree though.
Yeah.
Azul. Best children's game? No.
Yeah,
not a clue.
I know, right.
Zombie Kids Evolution.
Okay.
Who did it?
Which depicts on the cover a number of pets looking quite sheepish, and one of them's done a poo on the carpet.
Yeah.
Which, all right.
There we go. And then Schnick de Whoop.
I love it.
There's 2 snails on the cover.
I love it. I have no idea. Man, I have no idea.
I have no idea. Best family game.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Ticket to Ride New York, Honga, and the Tea Dragon Society card game.
Haven't had a chance to play any of these, but I did hear a lot of good things about Ticket to Ride New York.
Yeah, likewise.
It's kind of like it's a version of Ticket to Ride that doesn't outstay its welcome.
Yeah,
is what I've been told.
The Tea Dragon Society was nominated in the Origins Awards as well.
That's true. So who knows? We've got Best Miniature Range.
We've got Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles, Wildlands, The Adventuring Party, and Frostgrave Wizards. Best Miniatures Rules. Battlestar Galactica Starship Battles. There is someone in the judges who loves Battlestar.
Yeah,
evidently,
and that's fair.
Yeah. Ragnarok Heavy Metal Combat in the Viking Age.
I mean, that wins just on the name alone.
And Rebels and Patriots Wargaming Rules for North America.
Okie doke. I like the fact that there's a historical game in there.
Yeah,
I like that. Anyway, we're getting into some more reasonable territory here. Best new board game, American style.
Forbidden Sky, Chronicles of Crime, and Arkham Horror 3rd Edition.
I think this could be won by any of the 3.
Yeah, I think.
I think Chronicles of Crime should win it.
I think they've all been very well received.
Yeah.
Best new board game, Euro style. We've got Quacks of Quedlinburg, Space Gate Odyssey, and Architects of the West Kingdom.
Architects is great, right? Oh no, rather I've heard Architects is great, but I'd love to see Quacks win this.
Yeah, I think Quacks will probably win it.
Architects has a lot of very vocal, very vocal fans.
I think it'll be. I think it will be between those 2.
Yeah, sorry, Space Gate Odyssey. But right. Strategic game.
Root again.
Mm-hmm.
Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress.
Okay. Yeah.
I wouldn't really have placed that as
a dungeon crawler,
game.
maybe, but I don't. Didn't they put Shadespire in as a strategic game?
Yeah, they did
last year.
But
that actually is a strategic game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's too weird it being there. And then the third one is Victorian Masterminds.
Yeah.
I think Root's got to win this one, right?
I would say so.
Best new card game general. We have The Mind, Monsters vs. Heroes, Victorian Nightmare, and Unlock 3, Secret Adventures. Again, The Mind is going to win this.
The Mind has only really been nominated for anything because it was nominated for
Spiel des Jahres.
That's the only reason anyone is aware that it exists. It's true.
I don't know. I think there's some people who are aware of its existence because Duncan hates it so much.
No one was talking about it until it got nominated. They weren't.
We have Best New Card Game Strategic. Hey, we've got Ruthless on here.
Ruthless, Tetris Speed, and Arboretum.
Arboretum's meant to be really good.
It's also been out for a while.
Yeah. I don't know when it came out, but...
I've not played it, but I've heard a lot of good things about Arboretum. I like Ruthless, but it's flawed.
Yeah.
And I've not played Tetris Speed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's probably going to be Arboretum.
Yeah.
Best party game, we've got Decrypto, Mackie Stack, and 20 Second Showdown. Not played any of these, but Decrypto is meant to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably going to be Decrypto.
I feel like we're getting into the technical awards here.
Yeah, okay. We'll rattle through them. Best role-playing adventure, Peterson's Abominations. The Cthulhu.
That's Call of Cthulhu. Peterson's Abominations.
Yeah.
I feel like the context is important.
The Cthulhu Hack, Valkyrie 9,
mm-hmm.
and The Laughter of Dragons for the One Ring.
All right. Just looking at the RPG nominees, it's very different to the Origins ones, though, in general, right?
Yeah, that's true.
There's no Vampire Masquerade here.
It's with board games and card games, there tends to be like quite a bit of consensus, but like as you say, stuff's pretty different. It could just be that this is the stuff that was submitted to the judges.
That's true. Sorry, yeah. I think the other thing with RPGs that you have to bear in mind as well, right? You can probably get a decent idea on how good or bad a board game is after playing it a couple of times. An RPG, you have to commit a lot of time to even start to get a feel for it.
At the same time, though, there's a couple of systems that I've played where we've just done character creation in one session, and you've got a good idea of how well you're going to get along with it.
Yeah.
Legends of the Five Rings is... to be fair, it was the beta that we played.
Aye.
But Legends of the Five Rings is very complicated.
Yeah, it was a bit too heavy.
Yeah, I'd say so. I always feel quite out of touch with the industry when I see these award nominations.
I don't know. I think the thing is, again, like there's so the hobby has become so big now and so vast. There's so many different games that get released in a given year to play. You're never going to touch all of them.
No,
or even half. Right?
I think as well,
unless it was your full-time job.
I think as well, considering the way that the pricing's going, the fact as well that whether or not it's true, there's quite a bit of speculation that that some companies deliberately throttle supply to increase hype and demand.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily conspiracy territory. I think that's a genuine sales tactic that a lot of companies employ.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good little segue onto the final little thing we need to talk about, which is the tariff debacle. On the 10th of May, China and the US met to renegotiate their trade agreement.
Read butt heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who aren't aware, there's been quite a bit of posturing between the US and China for a long time.
Particularly since Donald Trump has took office, and right, I
to be fair to Donald, didn't think I would ever say that, but to be fair to Donald Trump, this started happening during Obama's time.
But this was a campaign pledge of his.
It was a campaign pledge of his, but I don't know why anyone was surprised that when the world concentrated all of its manufacturing in China,
Yeah.
that China emerged as a superpower after that.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah.
So the I don't think anyone can really dispute that the big two in the world at the moment are the US and China as far as global economies go. They met on the 10th to renegotiate their trade deal. Surprise, surprise, it went badly. Donald Trump is not a good negotiator. I think even if you support the man, you have to concede that point. He was not happy that China wanted to rework some of the terms of the agreement.
Okay.
And in response, increased tariffs on several Chinese imports by 25%.
A lot, basically,
A lot,
yeah. And China have acted in kind.
Yep.
So, how does this affect our thing?
So,
It's an obvious question, but like
one of the things
it's worth explaining.
One of the things that that was articulated within the tariff increases, without going into the specifics of it, was toys and games, basically. Where it's not directly affecting us because it's imports from China to the US, it will inevitably have a knock-on effect for the rest of the industry.
Right, because we're the UK and that's not our thing, we import games from the United States, which in turn import components from China.
Yeah, so you've got this little chain going on. It means potentially over the next couple of months, unless that's renegotiated, that we could be seeing another price hike in the hobby, which is not good.
That coupled with a little bit of the chaos that Brexit has caused as well. There's a lot of uncertainty in the business world at the moment.
Yeah. It's not great because the Kickstarter market has already changed the way that pricing works in the hobby. A lot of companies saw that people were happy to pay over £100 on Kickstarter for a game and have been doing similar things with direct-to-retail releases. And I think that trend towards premium prices within games, on top of this trade tariff debacle, it's not looking great.
So to play devil's advocate, is this not just the whole thing with the pricing of games? Is this not just supply and demand? There's a demand for games. People are willing to pay a price for it. So if you were a manufacturer or a maker of games, then why wouldn't you charge that?
There's an argument for that, but then there's also the economy of scale. There's an argument for that as well, isn't there? That when there's so many people that want to get into games, because there's a lot of games now that they're not producing enough of them to meet demand. So there's definitely a very big market for these sorts of games.
A certain element of wisdom in your bank pounds, not profit, not percentage.
Yeah.
So,
and anyone that knows about manufacturing in China, that all works by the economy of scale. That it will be cheaper for you to commission a print run of hundreds than it would be to commission a print run of one.
Well, and Mark McKinnon did Wreck and Ruin when that game was being fulfilled. This is exactly what he was saying, because he did his research and he knew that to make it cost effective, he needed to order X number of units. Yeah.
So the rise in price in board games has a lot to do with greed, and a lot to do also with rising costs in manufacturing. certainly I don't think that China was as cheap as it used to be for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, and this, I think we shouldn't blame this. Obviously, the tariffs are going to have a big impact on this, but the living standards in China are increasing, and in turn, their labour force demand more. They want to get paid more, which drives up the costs of manufacturing.
Yeah, because it's one of the things that has been spoken about for a long time with regards to Chinese manufacturing. Is the problem is that the reason that manufacturing is so cheap in China is because a lot of the workers, quite frankly, are exploited there.
Yeah.
They work horrendous hours for a pittance of what people get paid in other parts of the world. What's interesting is a lot of the manufacturing's moving to India.
Yeah.
And it's Chinese people running manufacturing in India, so they're taking what they've had in China and they're getting the even cheaper labour.
And this is what I'm saying about the rise in living standards over in China is going to become a first world country at some point, much like Japan did.
Yeah.
And then they're going to need their stuff manufactured for cheap somewhere else. So,
unfortunately, I don't think living standards in India are getting better fast.
No.
I mean, I think they're set to overtake China as the most populous country in the world.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, because the birth rate's through the roof in India at the moment. So there you go, a little bit of
global politics. Bloody hell, how heavy.
The silver lining in all of this is that China are open to renegotiating with Trump.
Yeah.
And apparently they did write a letter in the hope of reaching some sort of accord.
Because ultimately, and this is why World War III hasn't happened, by the way. Ultimately, the US and China are to a degree reliant on each other.
Oh no,
So,
they are completely reliant on each other.
So that's for as long as that status quo exists, there will be a resolution at some point.
What it amounts to is the US have billions and billions of dollars of debt to China, but China is so dependent on the US as a trade partner that they can't use that against them. Yeah. Mutually assured destruction.
Yes, just without the nuclear warheads.
Yeah, that's it.
Much better. Right, and on that note, guys, thank you very much for listening to us. Until next time, take care.
Bye.
Bye.